Hello class 7, how are you all? So last time we studied about clinical thermometer. Yes, now we will revise it again, then we will study about the next thermometer, which is laboratory thermometer. Okay, so you already know about clinical thermometer, the construction. Let me explain you the construction of it. A clinical thermometer has a long narrow glass tube. Yes, it is actually has a long narrow glass tube. Yes, and it has one metal. Which metal? It contains mercury. Yes, and remember kids, mercury is always found in liquid state. Okay, mercury is always found in liquid state, and the scale of this clinical thermometer is called Celsius scale. So it has a scale called Celsius scale, yes, which is marked in degree Celsius. Okay, a clinical thermometer read the temperature. Yes, it read the temperature. So the question is the maximum and minimum. What maximum temperature and what minimum temperature can it read? It can read from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. Yes, a clinical thermometer read the temperature from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. And remember kids, you know, in a clinical thermometer there is speciality that the mercury does not fall down. Yes, why? Because there is a small constriction known as kink. Yes, a clinical thermometer has a small kink near the bulb. The bulb is found at the bottom. Near the bulb, to prevent the mercury level from falling down. You know what is the temperature of human body? The temperature of human body is 37 degrees Celsius. Okay, kids, I hope you understood. Now, let's move on the next point. Okay, kids, now the question is how to take reading using a clinical thermometer. Yes, how to do reading? How do we take reading? So, first of all, step number 1, you will wash the thermometer with antiseptic solution. Yes, antiseptic solution is very important to kill the harmful bacteria. Okay, so first of all, you will wash the thermometer with the antiseptic solution, then you will hold it firmly. Okay, as you can see in the picture. So hold it firmly and you will give a jerk. Jerk you will give. I already explained you the meaning of jerk in previous class. Okay, so you will give a jerk to bring the level of mercury below 35 degrees Celsius. So when you will jerk it, what will happen? The mercury level will come below 35 degrees Celsius. Means temperature level will come 35 degrees Celsius. Then you will place the bulb under your tongue. Yes, remember kids, where you will place the thermometer under your tongue. Okay, under your tongue. And you will put 1 minute, around 1 minute you will put, and after 1 minute you will take it out. Okay, the thermometer, and you will note the reading. This is your reading in Celsius. This will be your reading in Celsius. So what will you do? Step number 1, wash the thermometer. Step number 2, hold it and jerk to bring down the level of mercury below 35 degrees Celsius. Then after 1 minute, then put the thermometer under your tongue. Then after 1 minute, take out the thermometer and note down the reading. This will be reading of your health, your body. Okay, I hope you understood. So clinical thermometer is used to read your body temperature. Okay, now let's move on the next point. Okay kids, now we are going to study about digital thermometer. Yes, can you see the picture of digital thermometer? It is very interesting thermometer. You no need to read the reading you no need to pay attention on the reading, it directly show you the correct reading. Okay, so digital thermometer is actually electronic thermometer. Okay, digital thermometer is actually electronic thermometer, and it is better than clinical thermometer. Yes, remember kids, it is better than clinical thermometer. Why? Because in clinical thermometer we use mercury. In clinical thermometer we use mercury, but we no need to use mercury in digital thermometer. And mercury is poisonous. Mercury is very harmful, but there is no mercury present in digital thermometer. Yes. Okay. So digital thermometers are preferred are conventional mercury thermometer. Yes. Digital thermometers are preferred over conventional mercury thermometer. Mercury thermometer are conventional. Okay. Digital thermometer are easy to read because it gives LCD. Yes. So they are, you can easily read because they give LCD display of the temperature of person. Yes, LCD display. LCD liquid crystal display. So you can easily read the reading. Okay, you no need to be worry what will be the reading, you can easily read. Please write down, I'm giving you 10 seconds. So kids, digital thermometer are better than clinical thermometer. They are mercury free also, and they give easy reading because it gives LCD display of the temperature. Yes, you can see the LCD display. Yes, which is showing the reading. Okay, in degrees Celsius. Now let's move on the next point. Okay kids, now let's study the next thermometer, which is laboratory thermometer. Okay, a lab thermometer, or you can call it laboratory thermometer. A laboratory thermometer also has a long narrow glass tube. Yes, you know, in clinical thermometer has long narrow glass tube. Yes, in the same way laboratory thermometer also has long narrow glass tube. It has a bulb at one end containing mercury. Yes, and you know, in a clinical thermometer also there is bulb at the end which has mercury. Yes, it also has mercury. But point is, in clinical thermometer there is a kink found. There is a kink found at the end of thermometer, at the end of bulb, near the bulb. Near the bulb, kink is found in clinical thermometer. Do you remember? Near the bulb, kink is found in clinical thermometer, which prevent the falling from mercury down. But there is no kink present in laboratory thermometer. There is no kink present in laboratory thermometer. That's why mercury level fall down automatically. And in clinical thermometer read the temperature from 32 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. Clinical thermometer read the temperature from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. But laboratory thermometer read temperature from minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. So a laboratory thermometer has a long narrow glass tube. It has a bulb at one end containing mercury. It has a scale marked in degrees Celsius. The range of a laboratory thermometer is generally from minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. But clinical thermometer, in the range of clinical thermometer is generally from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. I hope you understood. Now let's move on the next point. Okay kids, now the question is measuring temperature with laboratory thermometer. Yes, how to measure temperature using laboratory thermometer. So what will you do? First of all, take water. Take water, you can take in beaker. Okay, take some tap water in a beaker. Okay, take some tap water in a beaker. Dip the thermometer in water so that the bulb of the thermometer does not touch the bottom. So what will you do now? You will put the thermometer in a beaker, but remember the bulb of laboratory thermometer which is found at the bottom. Where is bulb found? Which contains mercury. Bulb contains mercury found at the bottom of the laboratory thermometer. This bulb of the thermometer does not touch the bottom of the side of the beaker. The bottom or the side of the, it should not touch the bottom of the beaker or side of the beaker. Now hold the thermometer vertically. You will hold it vertically. Okay, and you will see that mercury level rises. Mercury level starts rising. You will have to wait for some time. Wait till the level of mercury becomes steady. So after few seconds you will see that mercury level has become steady. Mercury level is neither falling down nor going up. Okay, so this will be the temperature of tap water. So note the level of mercury. This will be the temperature of water. Okay, so these are the steps. First of all, what will you do? You will take some tap water in a beaker. You will dip laboratory thermometer without touching the bulb to the side or bottom of the beaker. You will hold the laboratory thermometer vertically. So what will happen? Mercury level will rise. You will wait for some time, so the mercury level becomes steady, non-movable. This will be the temperature, the laboratory thermometer temperature in degrees Celsius. Laboratory thermometer we use in laboratory, science lab. Okay, I hope you understood. Now let's move on the next point. Okay kids, now we are going to study about transfer of heat. Yes, I already told you what is heat. Heat is the form of energy. Heat is the form of energy. Now, what is the meaning of transfer of heat? What do you mean by transfer of heat? Heat flow, if I give heat to something, suppose if I burn something, your mother cook food. When your mother cook food, what happens? The utensil become hot. Yes, but before cooking, the utensil was cold, and the vegetable that you are cooking, it was also cold. But after giving heat, while cooking, after giving heat, you are cooking means you are giving heat. You are cooking means you are giving heat. So it becomes warm. The reason behind it is heat. Heat is transferring from body, yes, higher temperature to the lower temperature. So what is the meaning of transfer of heat? Heat flows from a body at a higher temperature to a body at a lower temperature. This is called transfer of heat. So remember kids, heat always transfer from higher temperature body to lower temperature body. Okay, so heat is transferred in three ways. Yes, heat transfer in three ways. First is conduction, second is convection, third is radiation. Yes, heat can transfer in three ways: conduction, convection and radiation. I hope you understood. Please write down. I am giving you 10 seconds. So kids, you can see the picture. The hot area is shown by red color and cold area is shown by blue color. So when heat flow from hot body to cold body, or you can say high temperature to low temperature, it transfer by three ways. It transfer either by conduction or convection or radiation. Okay, now let's go on the next point. Okay kids, now it's time to study about conduction. So conduction means transfer of heat through direct contact. Yes, when something is touching someone, that time heat can transfer. Transfer of heat through direct contact. Okay, transfer of heat through direct contact. Our mother cook food on gas. Yes, On burner our mother cook food, it is actually direct transfer. So this is actually direct, this is actually conduction process. Okay, so occurs anytime object at different temperature are touching each other. So it can occur anytime, okay, at a different temperature it is possible. As long as the object are in contact, transfer of heat will continue until the temperature of object is the same. So conduction occur when the objects are in contact with each other. When the contact loses, transfer also loses. Okay. So transfer of heat will continue. Yes, until the temperature object is the same. Yes, remember kids, when the temperature is same, that time transfer will occur. If the temperature will be different, then transfer may be also. Okay. For example, if you leave a metal spoon in a pan of a soup that you are heating on the stove, it may burn your finger. The spoon is in direct contact with the hot soup and heat is transferred to the soup. You know, when your mother makes soup, your mother use spoon to stir it. When your mother put the spoon in the soup to stir it, the soup, the spoon also become hot. The spoon also become warm because of soup. Soup is also warm. That's why spoon also become hot. Okay? Please write down. I'm giving you 10 seconds. So remember kids, what is conduction? Conduction is the process of transferring heat through direct contact. And conduction is the process of transferring heat through direct contacts. Yes. So direct contact means when you are hitting something in metal, in container, and if you stir the container with spoon, then spoon also become hot. Yes, the reason behind it is direct contact means conduction. Now let's move on the next point. Okay, it's now let's try to understand convection. Convection means the transfer of energy in a liquid or gas is known as convection. Yes, convection means the transfer of heat, or you can say the transfer of energy also you can use, okay, because heat is the form of energy, so you can use the word energy also, okay. So the transfer of heat through liquid or gas is known as convection. When a part of a gas or liquid is heated, the particle it is made of to move faster and spread out more. When part of a gas or liquid is heated, the particle it is made up of move faster and spread out more. You know, incense stick, if you light incense stick, what will happen? The smell will spread. Why? Because the particle start moving faster, because the particle has become warm. Yes, because it has become heated. That's why the spreading. Gas started spreading. So when part of a gas or liquid is heated, the particle it is made up of move faster and spread out more. The moving particles bump into other particles. Yes, they bump into other particles, cause them to move faster and spread out more. You know, oxygen gas, during winter we feel cool, but during summer we feel warm. Reason? Because the all the gases which are present in our atmosphere, because of sunlight they become hot, and they particles of their start moving faster and spread out more. So it means what is happening? Transferring energy in a gas. That's why the complete area become warm. Okay. Now let's study something more about convection. Let's move on the next point. Okay, let's talk about convection in air. So kids, the air near the heat source gets heated and rises up. The air from the side moves into to take its place In this way, the air gets heated if you keep one hand above the flame and one hand on the side of the flame. The hand at the top feel hot because the air above is heated by convection. The hand at the side does not feel as hot because there is no convection. Kids, in winter, let's take the example of winter, okay? When you burn wood in winter, kids, if you put your hand at the top of the flame, you will feel hot. Your hand will feel hot. Why? Because the gas which is present, when gas start becoming warm, when gas is heated, it always rises up. When gas is heated, it always rises up. That's why when you put hand up, then you will feel warm. But in the corner of the heat, in the corner of burning wood, your hand will feel cold, not too much hot. Why? Because this is the process of heating. So we can say convection is the process by which heat is transferred in liquid and gas from the hotter part to the colder part. Yes, remember kids? Convection is the process by which heat is transferred in liquids and gases from hotter part to colder part. Let's do one more activity. Take some water in round bottom flask. It on a tripod stand. Put something. You can put a chemical like potassium permanganate in it. Then heat it. Then you will heat it with a burner. The water at the bottom becomes hot and rises up. Yes, you will see the water which is at the bottom, it will become hot and rises up. And cold water from the top moves down. Yes, the cold water from the top moves down, and the water becomes hot again and rises up, and again the cold water from the side, it again moves down, and this process is continued till all water gets heated. This shows the heat is transferred by convection. So kids, heat is transferred in liquid also. So this was the example of liquid. Okay. So I hope that you understood everything. Now let's go on the next point. Now kids, let's try to understand sea breeze and land breeze. First of all, let's understand sea breeze. During the day the land gets heated faster than sea. Yes, lands become warmer even in summer. If I talk in summer land is heated faster than sea. So the air above the land gets heated, become hotter and rises up. So during the day air, it becomes very hot during the day. So it rises up, and the cool air from the sea moves towards the land. This is called sea breeze. So we can say that the moving of air from sea to land, colder air from sea to land is known as, and hotter air from land to sea is known as sea breeze. So what is sea breeze? The moving of sea air, the moving of colder air from sea to land, and the moving of hotter air from land to sea is known as sea breeze. So always remember kids, hotter air rises up from land and it moves towards sea breeze, and sea breeze, colder air, moves towards land. That's why the coastal area, it becomes very cool. That's why people make houses near the coastal area. Now what is land breeze? During the night, sea cools down slowly than the land. At night sea cools down slowly than the land. that's why water in the sea at night it becomes warm, and uh, land at the night it becomes cool faster than sea. So the hot air above the sea rises up, and cool air from the land moves towards the sea. This is called land breeze. In short, I can say the process of moving cooler air from land to sea and hotter air from sea to land is known as land breeze. So during the night, you will see that the land area becomes cooler than sea area. Okay, so the process of moving cooler air from land to sea and hotter air from sea to land is known as land breeze. I hope you understood. Okay, now let's move on the next point. Okay kids, it's time to ask question from you. Question number 1. Define sea breeze and land breeze. Define sea breeze and land breeze. So, the sea breeze, the process of moving hot air to the process of moving hotter air from land to sea is, and colder air from sea to land is known as sea breeze. And what is land breeze? The process of moving colder air from land to sea and hotter air from sea to land is known as land breeze. Okay. Next question. Write a short note on conduction and convection. Question number 2. Write a short note on conduction and convection. So what is conduction? The conduction is the process of transferring heat in solid from hotter end to colder end. Yes, remember kids, what is conduction? Conduction is a process by which heat is transferred in solid from hotter end to colder end. Okay, you can take an example. Let's do an activity. Take an iron, or you can take any aluminium rod or strip and fix a few wax pieces on it. On at equal distance, you can fix few pieces of wax on it and clamp the rod to stand. You can clamp it to a stand and heat the other end of the rod. You will see the wax pieces begins to melt and fall down from heated end, and slowly all the pieces melt. Why? Because the complete aluminium rod has become, iron rod has become warm. That's why all the pieces fall down. But what did we do? We heated only one end, but slowly the complete rod has become warm. It means the solid completely become warm. So heat is transferred from one end to another end. So we can say conduction is the process by which heat is transferred in solid from the hotter end to colder end. And what is convection? Convection is the process by which heat is transferred in a liquid and gas from hotter part to colder part. Okay, you can take the example. Example is very easy of conduction. So convection example is very easy. Convection, take some round bottom flask, keep it on a tripod stand, put a crystal potassium permanganate in it, heat it with a burner. The water at the bottom becomes hot and rises up, and cold water from the top moves down. This water becomes hot and rises up, and cold water from the top moves down, and the process continues till all the water gets heated. This shows that heat is transferred by convection. Okay, and you know already about conductor and insulator. Yes, I no need to explain about conductor and insulator. Okay, I hope you understood. Now we will meet in next class. Till then, bye bye.